Hey team, so how to prepare for a marathon in 24 weeks? As I preach this, this is so important. If you want to set a new personal best in the marathon, a longer buildup is better. I know every athlete's different. You may have a different opinion about this, and that's fine. I mean, it's just my own opinion. So I think training longer, preparing longer for a marathon race is going to set you up for success better than if you were trying to rush your fitness in a matter of, say, 8 to 12 weeks. Now, a lot of athletes, they're working full time jobs. Maybe you don't have a full 6 months of training time to prepare for your upcoming marathon. Maybe your marathon is, say, in 3 months from now. So maybe a 12-week buildup is better for you currently. So if you're in that particular circumstance, then okay, focus on a 3 month buildup. But if you have a long-term goal in mind and you really want to drop substantial time off of your marathon time, focus on a 6 month buildup. Minimum 16 weeks, preferably 20 to 24 weeks. Okay, there's a reason why I have 24 or 20 and 24 week build up plans, training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com. Okay, one reason is this was what I focused on the most in terms of preparing for the marathon distance. I was always training at a minimum of 4 months, but most of my buildups were between 5 and 6 months. And the best buildups that I ever had in the marathon distance preparing for my races were 24 weeks long. So one of the reasons why you have a better chance of success here is because one, you are not rushing your anaerobic shape. You're providing adequate time for your body to build up aerobic fitness. You're building, strengthening your muscles, your ligaments, joints of the body, and then after you've built that 4 to 6 week buildup of easy aerobic mileage, then you're focusing on race-specific training, speed development, and then going into your taper phase, where this is the 4 key areas of my training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com, where I really focus on this. Okay, 24 weeks, 6 months, you won't be in a rush. You'll have plenty of time to adapt to those harder, faster paced long runs that I talk about. That is a very hard workout to do and it's a different style of training. Most athletes, they'll do speed training, they'll do hill repetitions, they'll do other types of workouts, fartlek workouts, but most oftentimes, a lot of athletes, and I've had numerous athletes reach out to me and say, that change in the way I was doing my long runs helped me drop substantial time and get new PRs off of my marathon time because I started to run, instead of running long, slow, and easy every single weekend, I started varying up the paces. I was running very fast in certain segments of that long run. I was running nice and steady, very easy, and then at race pace during those long runs. And again, you don't want to run long and slow every single weekend, but you also don't want to run those harder varied pace long runs every single weekend. So it's always alternating varied paced fast long run followed the next week by a nice, easy, relaxed long run. And when I'm talking relaxed, I'm talking jog pace, okay? Easy days, you should not be so focused so much on what pace per mile or pace per kilometer you're running. Okay, the real benefit of marathon training is going to come after those hard workouts are done. So it's so hard for us to slow down because we're so driven, we're so motivated to do faster workouts, tempo runs, focusing on staying consistent with our mileage, that we sometimes bypass the most critical and important step, which is jogging and taking it easy on those easy, relaxed long runs and easy, relaxed days during the week after those track sessions and road workouts are done. Okay, again, there's a term called supercompensation. Okay, Google that word, supercompensation. I'll leave it here on the screen. A lot of athletes don't know anything about it, and probably your competition doesn't know much about it either. Again, after we do a very hard workout, we're usually 2 to 3 times weaker immediately following that hard workout. But 24 to 48 hours after that workout, your body bounces back and you're 2 to 3 times stronger than you were prior to the start of that workout. So again, you cannot bypass the importance of your rest days, your recovery days. Okay, so that is one huge tip in terms of preparing for a marathon, and also why, in terms of preparing for a marathon in 24 weeks, you want to focus on a longer buildup rather than a shorter buildup. Now, again, you can still get great results off of an 8 to 12 week buildup as well. Okay, I'm not saying you can't set a new personal best with a buildup of 3 to 4 months. Okay, I'm just saying that a longer buildup will give you enough time to adapt to the hard workouts you're doing. You won't be so much in a rush, and again, you'll really be able to really focus and drill down on your goal race pace. The marathon is not a 5K, it's not a 10K. You may be able to run a very, very fast 5K or a 10K and just not be able to really run as effectively in the half marathon or and especially the marathon if you're not training correctly. Okay? The most important thing we have to keep in mind is when you're training for the marathon, a longer marathon buildup will give you ample time for your body to improve its lactate tolerance. You'll be able to sustain goal race pace longer and to be able to clear lactic acid more effectively, more efficiently, because again, you're not rushing. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks for your body to adapt to any stress you're placing on it. So don't expect to hit your goal splits in a matter of a few days. Okay, it might happen in it's going to happen in several weeks, but that's the process that you have to focus on is adaptation and making sure that you're training in 3 to 4 week blocks of training and gradually increasing the intensity of your repetitions and then lowering the rest in between each one of those repetitions. Okay, again, it all comes down to lactate clearance. And if you're running easy too often, you're just building aerobic fitness. You're burning fat, you're building endurance, which is still important, but at the same time, you're not training at a high enough lactate buildup for a long enough period of time. That's why I talk about if you're training for a marathon for 24 weeks, longer tempo runs is key. Okay, a big mistake a lot of marathoners make sometimes with having issues with pace sustainment in their races is they're not running long enough tempo runs. Okay, a tempo run of 4 to 5 miles might be it's definitely a great workout regardless if you're training for the marathon or the mile, but a 4 to 5 mile tempo, around 8 kilometers out to around 8 kilometers for a tempo run for a marathon is not sufficient. Okay, you want to think longer, so focusing on anywhere from around 8 miles out to around 14 miles in length. And again, it's going to vary from athlete to athlete, but focus on longer tempo runs, focus on lengthening your long runs. Okay, if you're training for a marathon, I would recommend anywhere from around 18 miles to 23 miles in length. I don't think going further than 26 miles will really do you any good. There is a point of diminished returns on your investment. Okay, I got out to 30 miles. I did a 30-miler one time training for the 2011 Monumental Indianapolis Marathon, and yeah, I was shot pretty much afterward. I had 6:02 mile pace over a hilly terrain, and I've done a few 27 milers, a few 28 milers, but the optimal distance, the where I was getting really legitimate results, was anywhere from 18 to 23 miles. So focus on that as your distance. Be patient. Early on in your buildup, your long run might be 10 miles. Okay, you have to start somewhere. So don't think that just because you can't run 10 miles without stopping right now, that you won't be able to run at 10 miles at race pace in training later on with another 10-mile run on the way back. So maybe 10 miles at race pace and then jogging 10 miles on the way back for your long run, making it a 20-mile long run. So again, 24 weeks I think is the optimal time frame in order to prepare properly for a marathon. I think a lot of times we're trying to rush our fitness and then when we don't run the times we're aiming for quickly enough, we start to self-doubt. We start to wonder if the marathon distance is really our event, when really you were trying to do too much too soon in too short amount of period of time. So I hope that makes sense. So that's really where I'm coming from in terms of the build up for training for a marathon in 6 months. If you want to set a substantial drop in time off of your marathon event, focus on a minimum of 16 weeks and preferably 20 and especially 24 weeks. The longer you can build up for your marathon, the better. And again, you're going to go into it well prepared, trained, highly trained, you've tapered down correctly, focusing on a 10-day rather than a 3-week taper. Okay, that's another thing I teach in the courses and in the training plans. I focus on a 10-day taper. 3 weeks is still optimal time to recover and taper down properly for a marathon, but a lot of athletes are reaching out to me saying they're dropping big time off of their race distances because they implemented that 10-day taper, and they've also are following plans and following training at the proper paces, also focusing on running easy enough on those easy days where they're recovering. So I hope this video is helpful for you. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. If you have a question or concern, leave me a comment below, like this video, share it with other athletes, people that you know. Helps the channel grow and other athletes see this video. And I definitely appreciate all of your comments. As you all know, if you leave a comment, I will respond. Feel free to reach out with a question too. So if there's a topic you want covered, leave it in the comment section below, and definitely check out the description below all of my videos. There's resources there for you, whether it's training plans, monthly coaching, running courses, or if you want to jump on a consultation call with me for an hour, feel free to check that out as well. So wish you all the best. I look forward to hearing about your new personal best, and I'll talk to you in the next video.